What up, boys?
What up, dogs?
My guys?
Dude, epic.
The men of the hour?
The men of the hour.
Good to see you guys. How we doing?
Jake's got weed this time. I remember you were saying you're out of weed.
I
got a joint.
Paid for my job, so I bought some weed. Thank God.
Nice.
Yeah, he couldn't go on a Patreon episode without weed.
Oh no, that's impossible.
Exactly. No. People pay $5 for me to get weed.
You know what I thought about this last week or so? I was like, we should have named the first tier something like I got 5 on it.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that
but
too.
We're not actually using your money to buy weed.
But we can if we want to.
We can if we want to.
Really, it's up to our discretion.
Yeah.
You guys could potentially be supporting a terrorist group.
Oh man.
How did you jump from that to that?
Well, just because I was gonna say something like about. I wasn't like necessarily referring to the conflict that's going on in the world, and more about the topic at hand. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I thought.
Okay.
That's what I figured.
Okay.
It just so happens we decided to talk about V for Vendetta like months ago.
Yeah.
During but yet we're talking about it during a very precarious time.
I was thinking that the whole time I was reading.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is so insane how Alan Moore is such a good writer that literally decades after the book's been released, multiple decades, it's still very relevant and very relevant. Fuck. relevant and like kind of corresponds to a lot of things that are happening in the real world today.
Completely agree. Me and Cody were talking about weed beforehand, before we jump too far ahead. This is like one of the few times I've never smoked before we recorded because I was just at work. So I'm gonna smoke right now. This is me getting high.
And this is actually the Comics and Chronic first for Cody specifically. This is the first time that I'm gonna be getting high on roach weed on the pod.
These are the real life problems we deal with here on Comics and Chronic.
So, Anthony, do you think you're capable of dying if you're just a symbol?
If you're just a symbol, hell no. As long as that symbol is strong, and as long as you got a cool mask that's really marketable.
Yeah.
The Guy Fawkes mask has been like appropriated by everybody. Like people that you're like, yeah, sure, like you wear it. And then other people that are like, dude, you're just trying to like stop black people from voting. You don't wear that mask.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people.
There's people who fuck it up for everyone that wears that mask
Exactly.
and thinks they're doing something. That's the dangerous part about like true, like he even says in the book, not actual order, but he's like chaos is like a voluntary order. It's a voluntary order.
Yeah.
But that's the key point is that it's voluntary. Not everyone has to like abide by your no rules, no man's land, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are people who will always take advantage of a shitty situation.
Yeah. And
a changing situation.
Exactly. And just to be clear, patrons, we are discussing on this Comics and Chronic Patreon episode, V for Vendetta, the Alan Moore comic, not the movie based on the comic. I just wanted to make sure that's clear.
This is
hold on.
exclusive.
I'm not trying to be an asshole either. When we talk about a comic, it's not just Alan Moore. It's Alan Moore and David Lloyd, the artist. Like,
true.
And even Alan
I didn't
Moore
disrespect
will say
him.
this.
You did that.
No. And I'm not even saying. I'm really not trying to be like, well, fuck you, Cody. You didn't say the art. I'm really not trying to be like that. I'm like, I literally just read the afterword. And in it, he is talking so much about how it's like both of them. Like, it's not just his ideas. Like, yes, but they work together. Like, the story it's kind of straightforward and it's not. Like, it's different than a lot of other comics. I don't know. I like it a lot, but some parts to me, I don't like at all. Like, it could be boring sometimes.
Psychedelic as hell for an 80s comic.
Psychedelic, yeah.
Very psychedelic. Very like
the art is
against the system.
Literal LSD is in the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very against the system type shit.
Anti-establishment themes.
Yeah, there we go.
very
dystopian
as hell.
Super dystopian.
Dark. I mean, this for those of you who have never read it, this comic takes place in England in the 90s.
1997.
After a massive war where it seems like England killed off a lot of its people of color and queer people.
A lot of Europe is also supposed to have been destroyed.
Yes.
It was basically World War III, but they never really say
They
that.
never say it, but like that's the impression you get.
They just say the war.
Yeah.
And if you listen, like in the background of some panels, like there's a civil war still going on in America.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't catch that actually.
No, it's that.
That
makes
that's
sense.
like a weird little thing that like just like the world is just different now.
Yeah.
But it's also important to note that this book was written in what 1980,
early 80s,
80,
isn't it?
88.
Oh, is it?
I thought it was earlier too.
Yeah.
Nah, 88 it started.
Dude, well, fun fact: this book was actually originally just printed in black and white. It wasn't originally colored.
Crazy because the color adds so much nuance to it. It's very well colored.
It's very like once again psychedelically colored.
Yeah.
Anytime they're in a disco or a club and the lights are on, or when V is dancing in the shadow gallery with Evie,
Yeah.
like it's always like that weird, like the spiral ball. What's it called?
There's literally a disco ball there.
Yeah, there's a disco ball,
which is kind of funny because I wouldn't expect V to have a disco ball. Like disco,
he's a cultured man, Anthony.
but I would expect him to be like, disco sucks.
So I do want to talk about how
he appreciates.
He appreciates the Bee Gees. Sorry, Cody.
No, you're
he's
fine.
listening to the Bee Gees while he's like taking over.
Probably is.
Dude, yeah. V is such a cool character. But regardless, before I even get into the story, I want to talk a little bit more about the art. So I didn't get in really as an adult get into comics until around 2010 or so. And so for me, going back and reading this comic was kind of challenging. It's almost like the same way as like going back and reading and watching a really old movie.
Yeah.
So sorry, Cody, this is the first time you're reading it, right?
Yeah, this is the first time I read it all the way through. When I first got it, I got it like, I don't know, maybe like 8-10 years ago, something like that. And I read like the first few chapters and then I just kind of put it down and never picked it up again. And until we decided we were going to read it for the comic. And I do want to say that going into it the second time, I don't know if it's maybe that I'm more cultured or like more able to appreciate older things. Like I do enjoy watching classic film a lot more now than I did in my early and mid 20s. So when I went back and reread this and reread the first few chapters. What I'm saying though is now it's like, it's not hard to appreciate. Like, even though the art looks old and dated, it's still like incredibly well done. And it's not hard to appreciate it if you like are willing to be open to it, is what I'm saying.
Damn, I don't think it's that hard of a sell though. I kind of disagree with some of that, but sorry, go ahead, G.
Oh, no.
I hate you, Cody.
Let's hear this disagreement.
No, I just mean to say that I totally get what you're saying because it could come off at the beginning as like a bit of a more boring story and not what, like when people talk about V for Vendetta, like there's excitement behind it. It's not always an exciting story. But like the art was fine to me. I don't know. The art just made it like perfect. Like there was nothing, like it's a comic book, but a lot of things about it don't feel like a DC or Marvel comic. Like the colors you were talking about are different. There's not like thought bubbles or anything like that. It's not like that kind of comic. So I don't know if it was like one of the first to do it that way, but when we talk about graphic novel, that's how it feels.
Yes, it is definitely a graphic novel. But there are thought bubbles. I mean, maybe not bubbles, but there's like parts where it'll
inside their head, yeah.
Yeah, you get glimpses inside of different characters.
There's cool uses of the actual page themselves. For instance, when V is playing the cabaret song on the piano.
Yeah.
And so you have to flip the book to read it, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's cool. I like it. Like,
and you're
once
getting
again,
the
like
notes. Like,
yeah, you're getting all the notes and everything. And while it's obviously it doesn't take place in any like drug sense of the word psychedelic, it's a really trippy part to read.
Yeah.
completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this book is, I know we've covered, this isn't the second time we've covered Alan Moore, isn't it? For
So
Patreon?
for Patreon, our first episode was The Killing Joke. You're right.
Yeah.
Joke. And we have done Watchmen before.
We have done Watchmen as a regular episode. You know what? Like, and I don't really recommend it this way, but when I first started buying and collecting comics, like I would just buy trades. The first two I got were Watchmen and V for Vendetta. Because I knew Alan Moore was the GOAT, and those are two of the first comics I like sat down and read, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend, like they're two of the best, but I wouldn't recommend those as like your first comics.
Ooh, what do you like more, V for Vendetta or Watchmen?
Watchmen. Easily, actually.
Ooh.
It's not even like, I don't even have to think about that. Yeah.
Cody, what about you?
Sorry, I'm just like really putting thought into it.
That's cool. I feel it.
If I'm being honest, today I almost want to say V for Vendetta.
Then say it. Say it loud. Don't
speak
let
your truth.
Yeah,
I think I might like V.
Exactly.
I think Watchmen is.
you need to blow up WVU.
Dude, that would be so cool. I should do that. Dude, Jake, you're a genius.
Disclaimer, do not actually blow up WVU. Dear government, if you're
no
listening.
one's blowing up anything. We're not terrorists.
I'm about to blow up this bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
You're so lucky I don't have like a fart noise. That would be so stupid.
That would be so stupid.
But no, I definitely, I might. I think Watchmen's more digestible.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a much easier read, but I think I like the themes and like the overall story maybe a little more than Watch in V.
Nice.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
That is fair. Yeah. I mean, this is my second time reading it ever. I haven't read it since I first read it.
When did you first read it?
I read it, well, it says on the cover of my book, now a major motion picture. So when the movie came out.
Gotcha. So early 2000s.
At least. Yeah. But it's funny. The book itself is early 2000s. I think that's just the cover. The paper is like old-timey paper.
Well,
is your guy?
Mine is the same way.
Paper?
Yeah,
I get what you mean. Yeah,
yeah.
Like it's like shitty, like almost yellowish paper.
Almost feels like newspaper.
Yeah, it feels like old newspaper.
Yeah, it's printed differently. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like whereas like my Watchmen now is a very nice new printed copy of Watchmen.
Yeah.
Hardcover.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, when we decided to do this, I picked up this. Version. It's the absolute. So the pages are really nice, but you're right about the colors. It's not like they're not. When you said psychedelic, there are some parts, but I think they are faded in a lot of parts. Like they're not, there's a lot of black and white, obviously, you know, like I'm not doing a good job showing you guys here, but it's still, the page quality is still good, but I get what you're saying. The art.
See, but your art looks more crisp in this version.
Right. But it's still not super crisp. If you look at it in person.
Some of mine, even the words themselves are really faded.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. I think for when the movie came out and they printed out ones that said now a major motion picture, I think it was just the cover that was new and the actual pages themselves are still old. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like that's a very plausible theory.
Do you have it on you?
Yeah, here.
I want to see what it looks like now. This is Patreon, but this is what we do here. We do.
But yeah, so anyway, I do think I think it's a hard book to read, but if you have like the stomach for, and dude, the themes and the anti-stat, you know me, it's going to speak to that little inner angsty punk kid in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. That's what speaks to me too. 100%.
So the cover, you know, now
that's the exact one that I have. That's the exact one that I have.
But then, okay, so not only before we get into the pages, you know, when you open it, it'll even say when it's been republished.
Right.
But there is no date when it's been republished. So when did the movie come out? Like 2000 something? Let's say 4?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
4?
So there is. So when you turn to the
6,
publishing
maybe?
page,
2005 actually. Yeah.
2005. When you turn to the publishing page, there is literally no year 2005 on it. It's all 1988. I think the paper itself is the old from the original book.
They just repackaged it almost.
They repackaged it with a different cover.
Do I have that one too?
That's the exact one that I have, Jake.
And it's like all, like, I don't know, it just feels like old paper, you know?
Yeah. Faded.
Yeah, exactly. I think they just repackaged it with a new cover.
I think you're right. Yeah, because it wasn't like a remastered.
It wasn't like a yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is not like a remastered version. This is probably one that was printed in 1988.
Well, maybe. I have another one. But see, look, I'm not Jake. I'm not a fucking fake comic book fan. Oh, you too, Cody. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. No, mine says the classic bestseller. It doesn't say now a major motion picture.
Hey, I'm not. You know what? If truth be told, a lot of movies, the comic book movies that came out, is what got me into the comics themselves.
For sure, I saw the movie way before I read the book.
Yeah, and
Same with like I saw Sin City, and then I read every Sin City, and I was like, whoa.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, same. Well, I mean, I didn't read every, but I've only ever seen the movie and then read the one we talked about. Oh yeah, we have a Sin City episode. We should do more Sin City. I really like Sin City.
We actually should do more Sin City.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Dude, I would also like to point out, like, V throughout it, he is a really cool character, but he's also a fucking lunatic.
Oh yeah, V is
Like,
crazy.
is like the dude is unhinged and he is crazy, but he's like a mad culture genius.
Can we 100% agree it's a he?
I think so. Yes,
I feel like it's up in the air.
I don't think it is.
The movie will make you think it's Hugo Weaving, but you never really.
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like it could be. I don't know. I feel like V could be anybody in the story.
But even in the book, they all say. In fact, the woman in bed that he gives a rose to, who worked at Lark Hill, she says, "I remember seeing you. I knew you'd come back. Like I saw." Which I think she says, identifies him as a man,
Right. But I feel like there's a lot of Phantom X misdirection in the comic. And anyway, at the end, I guess more importantly, like it's almost like anyone could wear the mask. Like you know, anyone could be V. But sometimes in the comic, I doubted if it was anybody. Like you get what I'm saying? Like sometimes like V says things where you're like, what?
I always thought that he was a guy, that he was the prisoner who's a male prisoner.
This time reading it made me doubt it. That's all. The first time, yes, V is a dude. But this time I was like, I don't know.
Well, also there are times like where what's her name? Evie. There are times where she at the beginning she acts surprised that he didn't try to sleep with her.
Right, that's one of them. Yeah. You could say a lot of things. You could say, "Oh, he's gay," or she even
says, she was like, "Oh, maybe I thought you were gay," but which is not a problem. But.
Or she says, "Or you thought you were my father." So that's another way, like, you know, which I don't think it is her father. Like it's a suspect.
Even though you see, I mean, he literally said, "I'm not your father."
Right. Yeah. But you see, that's the thing. V doesn't always tell the truth.
I don't know. I think of him simply because he's like the terrorist. Like his oppression is what made him into this. So I think it's a he, and I think he was a prisoner at Lark Hill.
Well, we do get some backstory. Right.
Yes.
I think it was a male prisoner. Not everything's they, them yet in 1997. There's still genders.
In 1988, I don't even put that past Alan Moore at all. What?
In 97. I'll say.
What do you mean? Oh, in the story.
Yeah, the story starts in 97.
Right. But I think it makes V, if V was, but to go off of what you're saying, if V was like not a man or even trans or just a woman, like it's like in the story, like Cody was saying, like in their concentration camps, they're killing off people of color, queer people. They bring that up a few times. Like I think there's something to it. I don't think Alan Moore is just saying that for no reason, you know?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I don't know if I can read it like that.
This time reading it in 2023, it really made me think of these things. I don't know. That was my reading of it this time, and it made sense. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that you get what I'm saying. I read certain things in the comic this time that made me think that.
For sure.
Yeah.
More aware of the world now.
Yeah.
Seriously, because the first time I read it, I was in college, and I'm not going to say I was aware, but like obviously I'm older. You know,
yeah. When I read it, I'm sure I would have still loved it, but I don't think I would have appreciated the themes and stuff as much as I did now. Just like how anti-establishment, pro-queer, pro-people of color, you know what I mean? Like it's a very
anti-fascist.
Is that true though? I thought Alan Moore has been accused more than a few times of being possibly racist.
That's a possibility. I don't know, but either way, V the character isn't. Like he still stands for those ideals, even if Alan Moore is a flawed person for sure.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
That's still but it's still a good point because like Alan Moore isn't V, and even if he wants to be, he's not.
Yeah.
No. V is a character that does what's right, but does it through. I shouldn't say that. He doesn't always do it. He does some crazy shit, but it's dope.
Yeah, V is insane. He had like some experimental drug in the resettlement. What do they call it? The re-education camps?
Yeah.
Or something like that. And he had some they were experimenting on a bunch of people, and everyone died.
Yeah. I think it was like 40. It was like 40 or something like that, or 60
Yeah, they each
had
a number.
And then everybody fell off except for like originally 20, and then it jumped down to like 13, and then it was like the last, because you've read all about V's background through a diary of one of V's victims. You know what
The
I'm
doctor.
The doctor.
The
Doctor.
botanist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surridge.
Yeah. And so she was. So you find out through the diary, her diary entries, but also how accurate are these diary entries? V wanted them to be found.
You see, that's again going back to we don't know.
But he admits, he shows her the woman, the actress. She even says, "Did you like? Oh, I even believe this thing you wrote." And she was like, "Let me show you something," and then showed her. She was the one who was in 4 because she was a lesbian.
Oh, Valerie.
Yes, but I'm not saying that that's not all. But I'm just saying everything is coming from V. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like the
True, but I
like
think he'll take off the veil when he. I don't know if I read everything as like Killing Joke ambiguous as you guys are with this comic, but like
I think there's a lot of ambiguity in this comic, to be honest.
yeah, but I think like he's also like there's moments where V is like utterly unambiguous.
No, agreed. But there is like we're saying, he is insane, right?
I mean,
you can't
even,
trust
even
an insane person fully.
Even Finch himself is like, he left this here, her diary here for me, because you don't read all of V's past from read Valerie's story from through Evie's perspective, but the perspective of V's backstory you read out as excerpts from the doctor's thing from what like Finch sifted through. So like we're getting
also to piggy onto your point and to almost counter myself.
Piggy on your point.
If you think about it, Finch had to take acid simply to think like V.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like I just thought about that. I was like, the dude literally had to dose himself in the ruins of a concentration
The
camp.
worst
Simply
place to possibly trip.
Yeah, I would never want to trip in like Auschwitz or something.
That's horrific.
That sounds terrible.
If you've never taken a psychedelic, this is what you need to know. Set and setting. That is the worst set and setting you could possibly imagine.
Well,
Definitely don't go to a death camp.
Yeah, don't go to a death camp and be like, I need to get my head into the mind of a terrorist and then take psychedelics.
And it's his first time doing LSD. He
And
doesn't know the effects.
He takes 4 hits,
Dude,
4 tabs.
Finch was about that life, dude.
Dude, it's crazy how much you care and also hate all of because as the story progresses,
Finch is not even that likable until like the very end.
Yeah.
Because he's still just like a cop, and but like now he's like
Finch isn't like, but all of the villains, even though they're like not likable, you care, you're invested in them. You know what I mean? Like in the power struggle at the end when they're all fighting for each other, and
They're
that
so
scene,
pathetic.
and they're all fighting for power, and V is setting up the dominoes. Crazy.
And the leader is losing his mind.
Yeah, dude, the
He's
leader.
Like, he's like, "Do you love me?" And someone's like, "I'm sorry, sir. Did you say something?" He's like, "What? No. England prevails."
Yeah. And he's like he's in love with Fate, the computer, which ends up being V controlling Fate.
That's so sick.
Yeah. The whole thing is crazy. Mind blowing.
Crazy.
Like it's one of those stories that anytime Alan Moore hits you with a curveball, you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? It's just like constantly, there's 3 chapters and each chapter has its own, is like an insane story.
Yeah. Wait, we never even really gave a synopsis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not going to be able to, guys.
I'll give a brief structure.
Some little bit of
So the comic is V for Vendetta. It takes place, like as we said, a dystopian UK 1997, England, London. It's become a more fascist government. Everything is controlled. Fucking whatever. there's a terrorist named V who wears a Guy Fawkes mask, who on November 5th, 1997, blows up the Old Bailey, which I guess is a symbol of sorts in England. I personally don't know what it is.
Parliament. He blew up Parliament.
Yeah. He blew up Parliament later, after the Old Bailey. The Old Bailey was first.
Oh, you mean in the comic?
Yeah, in the comic.
Oh, sorry.
Is the Old Bailey Big Ben?
No. Those are two different things. Old Bailey is like another statue thing.
Okay,
blows it up. It's November 5th because I guess sometime years ago, hundreds of years ago in England, Guy Fawkes, a British revolutionary, was going to blow up something, Parliament, I think, in England.
Yep. He did. I think he did. No,
he didn't. He got arrested.
Oh, he failed. Right.
Yeah,
Gunpowder. What is the rhyme? You know it. I don't know the rhyme.
Oh yeah, it's okay. Remember, the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why this gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. It's a pretty sick rhyme. It's like his Green Lantern rhyme.
I never thought about it that way, but
you know, when he says that, sick shit's about to happen.
Yeah, the Guy Fawkes mask starts to glow.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. Like DC has done some really like egregious shit when they take like Watchmen and try to inject it in the DC universe, but they've never ever brought V into like you've never seen like V team up with Batman.
God.
Like no one wants to see that. No one wants that.
Yeah,
cringe.
I don't even really like that they're including Watchmen into the DC.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest,
I disagree with that too.
When I hear that's happening, I'm like, well, here's a storyline I'm not going to give a shit about.
Dude, but also in the original Watchmen, there's hints that it takes place in like the DC universe.
Oh shit, really? Well,
yes,
I could see that. Yeah. But that's what's cool about Alan Moore. I mean, first of all, the dude, we talk about Alan Moore all the time. He's one of the best comic writers of all time, but he also like really just hates comics. Like even his own. Like I was reading
hates them getting made into movies. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely, because he's first of all he's not making money from it, and it's his creations. Well, not all the time, but in this case, yes, V for Vendetta. But even in this, he's like the first like arc. I'm like kind of ashamed of. I thought my writing wasn't that good. He's like, I definitely became a better writer as I was writing the series. Which, as we're kind of talking about, I kind of get.
I agree.
He's not completely
the comic
wrong.
Picks up like as it progresses.
Totally does.
I know what you meant about earlier too. There are just some moments where it's like slightly slower pacing, or like just like a little too much exposition. And I'm just like,
or you're just like, why do I have to care about this specifically?
You're doing a lot of reading.
It's a lot of reading, which I actually don't mind. I think that's cool. A lot of it's great, but like some of it, I'm just like,
yeah. A lot of Alan Moore is like, first, okay, these are the parts I didn't like to read. When there's like these drunk cops or they have an accent, but the way he writes it
the
is
Scottish
really,
accent.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to read this. Like my brain is like, what am I reading?
I liked reading that.
and then oh, nice. And then Alan Moore just kind of always does this where he's just always quoting like a Shakespearean or biblical passage, and I'm like, all right, I get it, but I'm not smart enough to really like decipher why you want me to know it. Like I'm just kind of almost skipping over it. I'm reading it, but this is me coming as a writer, by the way, saying like I'm not including like a Shakespeare quote in my comics and shit like that. I'm done with that shit.
You just called Alan Moore the GOAT and said you glossed over his writing in one episode.
Yep, I said like when anyone in a comic uses cursive, like I'm supposed to read it like they're writing a letter. I skip over that. I hate it. I can't do it.
No, that's interesting.
I can't do it.
I try. I don't like it either, but I do read it.
I mean, yeah, I'll force myself to read it. But again, it's just like my brain isn't registering it as much. I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I don't
know
like
what you mean, to be honest. It does make it harder to read.
Yeah, comic has to, reading a comic, it's about the experience as well. Going back to how you said, like, this comic had those pages where, you know, we saw the notes, the musical notes, like, one of the... It's like 3 books. It's made up of 3 books, 10 issues, right?
Yeah.
One of them is called The Vicious Cabaret. That's like my favorite part of the whole story is that middle section. No, you guys don't like that part?
What part's in the middle?
So the middle section I would consider, it's like as Evie is like kind of learning about the background and then she becomes a prisoner. That was a part of the movie
you
that
talking
always
about like when
me.
she lives with the dude?
Yeah, when Evie
gets
is
caught,
like,
is getting ready to kill the cop and gets kidnapped by V.
Right, and even you as the reader don't know at that point. You think she's actually like caught too.
Yeah.
So I really like that part of like that. Without that part of the book, I wouldn't like the book as much. If that
part
makes,
is great.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a very pivotal part, even just as far as like Evie's story arc. Is she like
Right.
She grows the fuck up. Not only does she grow the fuck up in mind. Remember, she's only 16.
When this starts, but it takes
the art of how she's drawn afterwards with a shaved head. She looks older.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
she's been through shit.
She's been through shit. She's wiser. She's more mature. She sees the world differently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She also was like, I mean, her face at that time, she's so skinny. She hasn't been eating properly. You know what I mean?
Like she does look like a concentration camp survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And she gets tortured, waterboarded by
Yeah.
I don't know if
fucked.
waterboarded,
But tortured for sure.
Tortured, yeah. Do you guys think you could take waterboarding?
No.
I don't think so.
I always like to tell myself I can.
Have you ever been taking a shower and the water goes up your nose?
For sure.
You know how uncomfortable that feels?
Absolutely.
Even for a second? Think about that, but it keeps going and you have no control over it. I can't. I would be like, guys, I'll tell you anything you want.
I feel like I would just like drink it. I'd be like,
Drink it, then piss on them.
exactly. Yeah.
Aim your dick with your mind.
I feel like that's one torture I could possibly withstand.
Piss on the computer. Get out of your.
Goes,
yeah, exactly.
The door's open. Like, Judo chop these guys.
Jake for Vendetta.
Yeah, Jake for Vendetta.
Oh.
Every chapter had a V word. Like it would be like vultures or virtuosa.
Volcano.
Volcano. No, really, there was one. There was one that was just
Yeah,
volcano.
there was one called
Oh,
Volcano.
Virtue.
Virtue. There we go. There's a lot of those.
Vicious Cabaret.
Warriors of Virtue. We still need to do a Warriors of Virtue episode.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh shit! Dude.
I know exactly the kangaroos that
Yeah,
fight.
the kangaroos.
Oh,
The kangaroos.
I remember that movie.
Dude, that movie is creepy as fuck. But like,
Could the Warriors of Virtue beat V?
I don't think so. With prep time, no.
With prep time.
What do you
Who has
mean?
prep
Like,
time?
If
Yeah.
V has prep time, no.
Oh yeah,
that's
definitely
true.
not.
Actually,
He's gonna mentally break down those kangaroos.
Yeah, he's gonna mentally break down this kangaroo. Yeah, no, I agree.
I do like the part where Evie like comes out of the whole thing and he's just like, yeah, keep feeling that. That's what you need. Like she need like one of the first time I took mushrooms, I kind of had like definitely not as extreme as that, but that was part of my trip. Like I had like I confronted some emotions and stuff in my life I needed to in a big way. And it kind of felt that way. And I've seen other people experience stuff like that. Like you got to like feel those emotions. Like she feels how she was when she was a kid again. Like she's like, Mom, Dad, like you really have to let yourself feel those things and you'll get past a lot of trauma. It's not easy. I'm not saying like, oh, just go out, pop a shroom. But I've experienced some things, not quite as extreme, obviously. Come on, I'm not trying to say like,
You've been
Again, you're V, you're Evie.
maybe. No, but I'm trying to say like, I totally, like, I didn't understand it the first time I read it is what I'm saying. I hadn't done shrooms yet. Going back to your whole, this comic's very psychedelic. That's something that happens if you take enough psychedelics. You'll break that mental barrier you have. Do psychedelics. Do
And you'll
psychedelics.
be able to move things with your mind.
Yep.
You'll be able to bring down the establishment.
Hell yeah.
Dude, it's so cool how he just is able to just like manipulate everyone to do exactly what he wants.
Well, do you remember they say that when he was an experiment, like when he was in the camp, that once he got that chemical, he had this like, he's like, have you ever heard of like when a schizophrenic has this like magnetic personality? Like you have no choice, you're drawn into them. And they describe him that way. Like he's very like stone faced, but like there's something about him that draws you in to the point where he was able to make bombs and shit
Yeah,
like
he made
by request.
mustard gas?
Yeah,
he made
like-
mustard gas and like napalm and got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So he kind of has powers in a weird way, like not
He does.
really,
He
but in
has
the most realistic.
yeah, he has like, like more strength than the average man. And
Yep, super fast, super silent.
fast, super intelligent.
Yeah, he does have like super intelligence.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, he's a force to be. He literally topples the British, a fascist British government.
Yeah, exactly. Who do you think we all are in the comics?
I don't think any of us are V.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
I agree with that.
I wasn't even thinking like, oh, this is Cody and Jake. Like my brain wasn't even there.
No, I think Anthony is Evie.
Hey, she becomes V at the end.
She becomes woke at the end.
Yeah. This comic didn't make me woke or anything like that, but it definitely, like, the first time I read it, and this time I was like, oh, that's where I know that thing from. There's a line where he says, noise is relative to the silence preceding it. The more absolute the hush, the more shocking the thunderclap. I love that. That's the whole, like, rise up and be loud.
Truly. You got to be more than loud. You got to be willing to kill.
I don't think that's necessarily true. He says it in like he's like at one stage of it, he's like, yeah, you gotta kill. And then he's like, but at like towards the end, like he's like, you don't kill. Now you build. Like you were talking about the chaos. It's like you destroy, then you build.
Yeah, well, he keeps talking about how he's like, there's two kinds of people, destroyers or creators. And, you know, or anarchy is two things, destroying and creating.
Right.
And just like all, I don't know. This comic book has like a lot of depth. It deals a lot with, you know, like it kind of talks about like how it's. I'm high, sorry. It's just.
Was this book hard to read being high? I didn't read it while high, surprisingly too. Like I just read it completely sober.
Oh, I read it high. At times it was. Both. Yeah, I read it both too. At times it was. There were times where I was just like really stoned and I was like, I gotta put this book down.
It was really fun to read it in like, try to read it in V's voice, which like, I feel like unfortunately from the movie is probably very Hugo Weaving centric. So
why is that unfortunate?
Because I'd rather have my own voice. Like
How do you think he sounds then?
I don't know. I honestly I kind of like that, if truth be told. Hugo Weaving is a good voice. Even if Jeremy Irons had been the voice for V back then, like that would have been cool.
Yeah, I think Hugo Weaving was fantastic.
Because there's something sarcastic about the way Hugo Weaving says a lot of things. And that's how I read it too.
But, and also like, not necessarily like synonymous,
or cheeky.
But going back into your thing where like he could be a woman or he could be trans or he could be a gay guy, he was very flamboyant. And very like animated, you know what I mean?
Very much into theater.
Even his bubbles are drawn very like, oh, hello, I'm V. Like,
yeah, like
his talking bubbles are
to him.
Yeah, it has a whimsical
yeah.
like cadence to it.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for me to say at the very least. I don't know how to say this. He's not a straight dude. He's not straight. At the very least,
I don't assume anything today.
No. Well, yes, assume a lot of things because like you get put in the camp again if you're a person of color, if you're queer, or if you're a revolutionary. But it seems like he's
or Jew. They did say Jews in the book.
Right. Just anybody that's not white, not Christian, like
yeah.
Anybody, but Jews too, right? They do say that.
But also,
yeah,
like
exactly.
her dad was he was a straight guy,
right? For being a revolutionary. So this is what I'm saying. He could be a revolutionary, but for
I don't think he was.
Right? Like it seems like he learned that after he got like injected with the stuff and was exposed to like being in a concentration camp and seeing what the world became. I think he's a gay man. I think at that I would say. Ooh. Or a lesbian, right? Because the story about Valerie, the lesbian who's put in the same place for being a lesbian, where she gets the toilet paper letters she writes to him, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that could also be, he could be Valerie. Valerie starts with the letter V.
Well, that's true too. But I also was wondering, they say, this has to do with Valerie, that her girlfriend gave her up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that she killed herself.
Right. She couldn't take.
What if she didn't and she was V?
Ooh. See.
That's something I thought about while reading it.
That's a cool theory. I think there's something to like the identity of V. I think when I first read it, I was like, oh, it's like Spider-Man. Anybody could wear the mask, and there's some hint to that. But like this time around, I'm like, nah, who's V? Who is V? Like you never find out. And is it important? I don't know. Is it? I'll ask you guys. Do you think it is? Is it even important to know the identity of V, or is it better? Like even Evie says, like, what if it's a nobody? Then does it lessen it? You know?
Yeah.
Interesting questions.
Dude, this trippy shit, Holmes.
Dude, it was crazy, and it talks about. Talk-
Blah, 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 blah. Just,
just like talks. I feel like it's like a big, like talks a lot about ego, and you know what I mean. Like it, like I've a lot of commentary on like the kind of people who lust for power. It's just like crazy. It's just like a crazy deep. I feel like I mean, luckily the comic, I don't know about the movie, but the Guy Fawkes mask has been appropriated by like a lot of the wrong people.
100%.
yes.
But like,
I think I have a dark secret, even though it's Cody's turn. I just thought of something.
but those people I feel like are the same kind of people that would misunderstand that Rorschach is kind of supposed to be a bad guy. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I agree with that shit. Oh man, yes.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Well, which even happens in the show, The Watchmen, when it's all the racist white people
Yeah,
that use Rorschach's ideology.
true.
exactly.
I don't have a personal dark secret, so Cody, you have to give a dark
I
secret.
have a dark
Oh,
secret.
But I just have a dark story that goes with the Guy Fawkes mask. So like, no, seriously, because it was just weird, and like, I don't think anything was gonna happen. But okay, so in high school,
Did Antifa try to beat you?
no, this was in high school. Wait, did it? Did it? So in high school, I took a class. It was a film class, but you watched movies and then discussed it. I forgot what the name of the class was, but that's what we did. And all the movies we watched were about teenagers or something about high school. So we watched like The Breakfast Club. And then we watched this movie called Elephant, which is about, and Bowling for Columbine. So we were watching movies about school shooters and like talking about that. Yeah, like it was.
That's
like,
kind of crazy.
it was crazy, but we were having real discussions about it, and it was back in what 2008. So it wasn't like there was school shootings happening all the time, but there were more and more happening. So it was like Virginia Tech was the thing that happened back then.
Ooh,
so that's why I
VTech.
think you remember that.
Yes.
There but I'm saying so like. So we're watching these movies, and there's this one kid in the class, and I know him, but I want to say I'm friends with him. And
Who is he? What's his
the
name?
kid's name was Andrew.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Oh shit. And he goes to me. He's like, "All right, this is what I'm gonna do as a joke tomorrow." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm gonna come in with the Guy Fawkes mask. No one's gonna know it's me." Like he's saying he's gonna come into the classroom, and he's like, "I'm gonna act like I'm a school shooter." I'm like, "Don't do that. That's stupid. Don't do that." I'm like,
That's
"What?"
crazy.
Whoa, yeah.
And he's like, no, it's a joke. I'm like, "Don't do it." He's like, but you'll back me up, right? I'm like, "No, what do you mean?" like pulling me into this shit. I'm like, "That's dumb." He's like, "Whatever." Like this guy didn't have any friends, and he's like turning to me and saying it. And so he comes in the next day. The classroom is full and it's silent, and he opens the door. He kind of kicks it open, but not like violently. This dude is like in a green hoodie with a Guy Fawkes mask and a duffel bag. A duffel bag. He's like, "All right, everybody, fucking," like I forgot what he says because I'm just like, "Oh my God, what the fuck? Like, is this real now?" Like you know what I mean? Like he could, no sold. No one even blinked. They were just like, whatever. Like the teacher was like, okay. Like he immediately takes the mask off. He's like, "Oh, I thought it would be funny." Like he didn't get in trouble. It's like so weird.
He didn't get in trouble?
That's
like,
crazy.
That's the end of that story. That's what happened.
An insane story. That could have gone so many ways.
Oh, I know. Thinking about it, I'm like, should I have said something to someone? Like, obviously, he wasn't going to do anything, but
How do you know? Obviously, that's what they all say until it happens.
I know. You're right.
And then
I don't know,
you
18
could have been
years
the only
old.
one to prevent it.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Do I even
I've
need
thought
a
about
dark
that.
secret?
Yeah. Yes, let's get darker.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, darker.
mine was gonna be not. I feel like that's a hard thing to get darker than. Is to like.
That was a pretty good one, right?
That was a good one. You should share
Yeah.
that.
I don't.
Funny parts.
Would have been so out of left field.
Yeah, I know. He's like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's so funny. So I guess should I still do a dark
Yes,
secret?
are you not telling one?
No,
Still
I have
get paid
one.
for dark
Mine was
secrets.
just gonna
Give
be
him dark secrets.
so for mine, I was gonna say V is for venereal disease. That one time when I was in my mid-20s, I had to call 5, which is the letter V in Roman numerals. 5 women and these had and let them know that I gave them chlamydia.
That is a legit dark secret.
Yeah.
One
That
that
was
I've
dark.
known before, but it's always hilarious to hear it every time.
Yeah, I feel like putting that, even though you know it, you're also a close friend of mine. You know what I mean? This is the
Hey.
first time I've put this out on the internet.
It's not
Commies,
even
if-
widely available.
Yeah, commies, if you're listening to this, make it well known on the internet that
Yeah.
Cody
Don't.
did that.
We don't have to. You don't have
Spread,
to.
spread the word about
Spread the
Cody's
word.
chlamydia like he spread chlamydia.
Oh.
Hashtag Cody chlamydia.
C for chlamydia.
Oh, shit.
Is that the name of the episode?
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
I think I could Photoshop Cody to look like Guy Fawkes. I think it's pretty close.
Oh, my
You can't, there's that, and then there's Wolocalypse. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, Cody, you're V. Cody is V in my book.
Oh my god, that just killed me. C for chlamydia.
Well, Cody said V for venereal disease first.
Oh, I like C for chlamydia.
Yeah, that's. Oh.
Hey, this story also has evil scientist.
Oh yeah, very, very true.
Yeah.
Like evil scientist.
Yeah, this is in our Mad Scientist Month.
Mad scientist month.
Now that you said that though, that would be cool. Like we could each pick like a comic book where like the classic mad scientist is the villain. Maybe it's like Hugo
Dr.
Strange,
Doom. or
Doctor
Yeah.
Doom. You know what I mean? Like shit like that.
Ooh, I like that actually.
Doc Ock.
Yeah. Ooh, we could finally talk Superior Spider-Man. Maybe?
Ooh, oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Dr. Connors, dude.
Yeah.
Good
lizard.
Connors.
I just had the lizard fight in the game Spider-Man.
Dude,
2.
the lizard looks so cool in
it
Spider-Man 2.
was awesome. That fight was insane.
It might be my favorite version of the lizard, the way the lizard actually looks.
Yeah, it's fucking
He's a
cool.
beast.
That game is incredible.
Yep.
Work of art.
Beautiful. Ah, wow, you're actually not, I'm not far ahead of you then. I gotta keep playing.
But yeah, I don't know that, like, I think all of the main characters aside from like V and Evie are so evil that
I'm actually surprised you guys didn't give me one character in particular.
who?
Yeah, who?
The Scottish dude,
Well,
Allie.
yeah. I could have seen you being Allie.
Which guy is that?
He's the one that kills Creedy.
Who kills the dude in the house that's living with Evie. He's the dude who kills Creedy. He's the one who sells the gun.
Oh, he stabs him through the door with a sword?
He's the Scottish dude where you said it's hard to read. It was him.
Right,
that
okay.
character.
Okay, see, that's why. You see, it's proving my point. I was kind of like, oh, who's this guy? What? I'm not reading this.
His name was Allie. And he was
Yeah.
like a Scottish, like, not IRA, but whatever the Scottish equivalent of
Yeah,
that.
he was a piece of shit, though.
Exactly. He was a
That's-
piece of shit.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit. If I would give you him over any of the other villains.
Yeah.
Or he's the guy that collects dolls.
Anthony, I could see you being Dominic,
Which guy was that?
Mr. Finch's partner.
Almond, the
Oh,
dude that
Almond.
beats his wife.
The other
You're calling me a wife
the,
beater?
the other detective. Mr. Finch's right-hand guy.
I'll be honest. I kind of I couldn't tell those guys apart all the time.
Almond is not the dude who, or Mr. Finch's right hand guy is not someone who beats his wife. He's just like a dude.
What ends up happening to him?
Nothing. He's just like
Okay,
there.
gotcha.
He's like, oh man, where's Mr. Finch? Shit's getting crazy right now. And
Yeah.
Mr. Finch is out there tripping balls at a concentration camp. Classic tripping spot.
It's so crazy.
How do you get LSD in the dystopian future? It's like
He's a cop. You don't think he's arrested? Go to the evidence room. People you've arrested. There's all kinds of drugs in there.
but like LSD survived World War III. That's awesome.
Of course. I bet they use it to torture political inmates,
Yeah.
Makes sense, actually.
Yeah, people are doing drugs in this world for sure.
Yeah, it's just not the common people, but like Mr. Creedy and all them, they're doing coke, banging whores.
Who's the guy? His wife is running the show, and she's trying to
Conrad?
take power in the end.
Yeah,
Conrad.
Conrad. Dude, she cucks her husband.
Oh, so hard.
Hard.
So hard. But there is a panel where she's like, oh, give me that. That's my grass. Like, it's so hard to get. So weed is hard to get, but he could pop LSD in a concentration camp. That's what I'm saying. Like, LSD.
He's a cop. He works for the finger or the nose.
All right, I keep forgetting that. I thought she had some power, but she was just cucking her husband, like you said. It was like a behind the scenes thing.
Yeah, she was a behind the scenes cuck lord.
Yeah. Behind the scenes cuck. No, but I mean, it is her, because of her that Conrad rises the ranks so
Yeah,
quickly.
exactly. She even says, she's like, I'd almost be attracted to you if it wasn't for the fact your success is directly because of me.
Yeah.
She was cool.
She was crazy. Yeah, she's badass.
Yeah, but she ends up being homeless.
Good.
Remember Creedy at the end walks past her and she's like, we can make it work. We can build it, from the ashes. And Creedy's like, get lost. He just walks off.
You bum bitch.
Yeah.
I love at the end, so V gets shot. Is it Finch that shoots V? Or it's Finch that shoots V. He's still tripping.
Yeah.
And he shoots him and there's like no reaction. So at first you're like, oh, maybe he's just like whatever. And he's like, you can't kill me. Ideas are bulletproof.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that ideas are bulletproof because that's so true. You just can't kill an idea. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. But V still dies, but then he doesn't die.
The legacy lives on in brightest day and darkest night. Remember to fight the fight.
Dude, that would be sick. We should bring V back.
Yeah. To fight Betty Yayo 2069. Let's go.
Dude. Could V beat 20? I don't know.
Maybe
She has
if,
some V-like abilities,
maybe if V was brought back to life, maybe V could be able to.
See, the way I'm seeing it is like Betty Yayo, all we're thinking about is how powerful she is, because her power levels are even more than Dr. Melfi. if you think
Omega
about it.
level.
Dr.
Omega
They nerfed her, man.
Omega level. They nerfed her.
She's an Omega level Dr. Melfi, really, if you really want
Yeah,
to
you're
put it to
right.
words.
You're absolutely right.
But you're always thinking about her power, but not her mental level, right? Like, how do you beat AI? You have to make it like short circuit. You got to make the V will do that. He'll figure out a way.
I mean, if V can control fate, then V can defeat Betty Yayo 2069.
Exactly. He knows how to hack the systems.
Dude, do
Yeah.
you think V could beat Hal from Space Odyssey?
Hal's a tough motherfucker.
Hal's a tough motherfucker. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's one AI you can't crack.
Yeah. We only got Chronic Jarvis.
Have you ever seen Space Odyssey?
Yeah, of course. What? Hell
Okay. Of course. There's plenty of movies you should say, of course, do it.
But I've seen that.
Cody, have you seen Space Odyssey?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nice. We should do a Space Odyssey movie one day.
Yeah, dude, I'm down.
That'd be an interesting one. Hell
That'd
yeah.
be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We haven't talked
Stanley
our
Kubrick.
very first Kubrick episode.
Yeah, we should do a Kubrick episode.
I'm so down. That would be the movie I pick for sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Put it in
Ooh,
the book.
2001.
Hey.
I'm putting it in the books. Should that be a Patreon? Should that be an upcoming
That could be a
Patreon?
Patreon. For
it
like,
has to be. All ideas that we have on Patreon stay on Patreon.
Oh.
Starting this episode.
Fair enough. It's a new rule. So
It's a new rule. It is written in the book
of Patreon.
of Patreon.
Yeah, it's chapter 69 verse 420. Those are the only numbers we fucking use on this.
Oh, that's crazy, dude. All of the characters are kind of unlikable except for Evie.
Evie, actually, if I'm going to be honest, I didn't like her in the beginning.
In the beginning, no, she's just kind of.
It's almost like I wanted her to die.
What? I wouldn't go that far.
I did, yeah.
Why?
She wasn't a survivor. She wasn't meant to be.
But she grew. She became one.
Only because she got turned into one. She was never,
She wasn't free yet. She needed to be free.
I don't know.
That's the whole story. Like she all going through all of that, and then because remember she's only 16. Like why would she know anything about the world?
We could also interpret it two ways. You're right. She's 16, being taught and indoctrinated by a crazy person in a mask, only after torturing her, but then saying, "No, girl, it's for your best."
You're right. You're right.
Come on, man. Let's just.
You're absolutely right. I can't even argue that.
I mean, going back to this book being so ambiguous, it's like, oh yeah, like yeah, she like fought for, but then it's like, well, she did get like manipulated by a terrorist also.
Right. Because at the end, his Viking funeral is really just another bomb.
Another terrorist thing.
Another terrorist attack.
So,
how would I feel if somebody reprogrammed KO in that way?
To be a badass?
Yeah.
Oh, see, but you're blindly saying be badass. People are still going to die. As Gandalf says, "Do not be so quick to deal out death, Frodo."
That's a surprising stance coming from old Jakey Poo.
I'm full of surprises, Cody.
Gandalf.
Yes, there are other subtler ways to destroy your enemy.
Well, it's funny. Like she becomes free when she's just like when she still thinks she's being tortured by whoever, and she's like, they're like, we're gonna if you don't give this person up, you're gonna go out back and we're gonna shoot you. And she's like, shoot me. I'm ready to die. And then that's when everything's just suddenly like,
It's like you've done it, Evie.
Yeah, like when you want to die, you're free.
Yeah, or when you're just not afraid to die.
Yeah, that's better.
You're truly free. I mean, I agree with that to an extent.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's kind of insane too. It's very extreme.
Well, it's also like you can there's a lot of crazy people who justify their horrible things by saying that very kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
oh man, remember when they make that guy walk on the ledge and he'll fall? They know he's gonna fall. V doesn't do it. He saves the guy.
When is this, at the end?
It's towards the end. There's the Scottish guy makes some other guy go onto the ledge of the building,
right.
And he has to walk, but they know he's gonna fall. Like it's guaranteed he's gonna fall.
Yeah.
But he doesn't because V saves him. That was fucked up. Like they don't murder him. They just say go out on the ledge and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Very Tony Soprano like.
Well, it's a very British way of saying it. Seriously, if you ever watched what was that movie? The Good Shepherd. It's about CIA and British intelligence, World War II. Matt Damon's in it, and Alec Baldwin. The dude who plays Dumbledore is in it. He plays a British spy, and I guess one of the code words for come in and kill this dude is tie your shoes or whatever. And he's like, I understand if you don't want to tie your own shoes. It's just and then two people came and killed the dude.
Oh shit!
It's a very British way, English way of it's like an English Tony Soprano type thing.
Yeah.
Like in Snatch, and pull your socks up means duck.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a very British story.
Very British.
Very British. Yeah, I'm sure there's things that go over our head.
Also, who's to say V's voice isn't super hello, remember the 5th of November.
A young
Mr.
Michael
Wayne.
Caine.
Yeah. Pretty much Michael Caine. Michael Caine.
Michael Caine as V.
Oh, shit, dude. Idris Elba as V.
Nice. I would like that.
That would be good.
That's another thing. Do we? Well, I guess the people in the past
or
are
Emily Blunt as V.
Ooh, see, yeah.
You never know. You never.
I guess he could be not white. Like this, his skin could have become pale. Like they talk about his skin being. No, seriously, they talk about the injection. Like he's kind of like Joker in a way in that sense.
Dude, speaking of kind of like Joker, when in the beginning, when he captures Commander Prethero and has his doll collection, and he's wearing like the pork pie hat and the very pinstripe like Jokery.
It looks like
hello. It doesn't, and it's a different V mask.
Right. It has like this exaggerated smile
with like a big old nose, and it's like a more like comedy mask.
Yep.
It looked very Joker-esque.
Agreed.
I wonder if that was intentional.
Well, so this came out.
Which came out first? Yeah.
Killing Joke came out
85.
84, 87, 86.
Batman the Killing Joke came out in 88.
Damn,
Same year.
dropping bombs.
Yeah, wow.
But he also worked on this for many years before it got published.
Big time facts. Big time facts.
But I think that face, and even that's probably what the Joker has some inspiration from. They mention even in the comic, in Britain or the UK, they have Punch and Judy shows. So he's like two puppets, and one of the puppets looks exactly like that. Like that exaggerated smile, bigger nose, like just clownish.
Dude, that was crazy what he did to Prothero.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, Prothero was a crazy guy to kill. It's what's crazy is
he didn't even kill him. Going back to the Joker vibe, he straight up made him go insane, and he had a smile on his face, and he's like, "Mama, mama." Yeah. Like, dude, that's hard Joker gas vibes, right?
100%.
And then there's he kills that pedophile priest.
Yeah, that scene is badass.
He poisons the wafer.
Yeah.
I really like the scene when he kills the woman doctor in her bed. He's like, I killed you 10 minutes ago. Yeah. That whole scene is cool. She's the only person who's like, I feel like shit for what I did. And she was relieved. She's like, thank you. She straight up said, she was like, thank you for like killing me. Like she knew she didn't have the courage to do it herself.
Yeah.
I like that part. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And V also didn't like violently kill her. I think he knew that she probably felt guilty, but still, like, he's like, I have to punish her anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
And think about it, because he just like gives her a non-painful poison. Everyone else he like mentally tortures and kills brutally.
Yeah. So the first act of the book is V getting finishing his vendetta against all of the Larkhill people. That's the first act. Yeah. The second act is the freeing of Evie. And the setup for the
grand finale.
The grand finale. And then the third act was the toppling of the British government.
Yeah.
And like basically you just like see all of those pieces fall like dominoes. It just like it, you know what I mean? He set everything up perfectly. Everyone betrayed each other the way he knew they would. You know, there all these talks of the violent protests and the how they had to like double the amount of cops, and like it's crazy how you know
how real it feels.
Yeah.
Like our lives. For sure. I mean, England has been going through some shit in just the same way we went through it. Like literally in this comic, towards the beginning, you see "Make Britain Great Again."
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
right? I didn't realize that was like an actual right-wing slogan.
Like he's kind of predicting the future. He's like, when I wrote the comic, I figured the Labour Party, which I guess is their Republican Party or closer to it, would take power in the next few years, which they did, and then I don't think they ever really gave up. I don't know British political history or whatever, but we know now, right? We know there was Brexit. We know Britain's going through. They had their own Donald Trump, you know, and it's the same kind of bullshit. And it's really scary how you're saying, like, yeah, like we could see a lot of things because this is a totalitarian future after a nuclear war, and like we're seeing things that are similar, you know, like we're gearing up towards that dystopian future, baby. So I don't see any stop to it. Because he also like going like to his most extreme thoughts, he says how like everyone kind of deserves this. He's like, you guys were put in a cage and accepted it and didn't do anything about it.
That's the thing. You're right. And that's what I mean is like, we're calling him a good guy. Like innocents get killed. Like no matter
Absolutely.
what. In any revolution and any war, like straight up. And he does say that. He says those exact words. He's like, you guys chose this. You could have fought back at any moment, but you for a while you became too comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys elected these people through democratic elections. You voted for someone who then abused their position. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So it's like, no, he is like punishing like the civilians as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's like, because he sends Britain into he basically causes the government to collapse.
Yeah.
There's no,
he incites chaos and riots and
food shortages,
disorder.
Shuts off their ability to broadcast anything.
Yep.
So you also have to, like, if you're V and you claim that you're doing what's right, you have to hope that the right people, which is a very dangerous thing to qualify in someone's own perspective, what's right and what's wrong. You have to hope that the right people is what come out of this revolution.
And that's what he's saying as he's dying. You're absolutely right. He pretty much says those exact words. He's like, chaos, right? We're going to destroy, but now we create. But if we don't allow the space to create, if these people, now it's up to them, right? Like you could call him the savior, but if everyone else doesn't follow along, like his idea that's bulletproof. Remember in Jonathan Hickman's X-Men, there's the issue with when they go to the UN and Magneto is they're just talking the greatest shit of all time. That's one of my favorite X-Men issues in general. But Magneto says, like, how do we, this is how we're going to snuff out the human governments and things like that. He's like, it's like a fire that we're just going to smother. Our ideas are going to take over your ideas, and we're going to make sure your ideas don't have room to breathe. I think it's kind of getting at that same thing. Like, we just need the better ideas. Like he has some.
Kind of like how Jesus died for our sins, but now it's up to us to repent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
V is definitely a martyr for the cause, but like him not having an identity, us not knowing even who he is, I think it does make it stronger. It's like he's just some guy. Like it's the mask. And he doesn't die. The idea is bulletproof, right? V continues. We know the first V is dead. But then Evie becomes the next V.
V.2, 2.0.
V.
Yeah. V23.
V23. V23. That's awesome.
Although if they did make a movie sequel with Natalie Portman as V, that wouldn't be so bad if like we had an original story that was actually good.
I'm going to go a step further, okay? A sequel. Okay, the movie opens. Let's say it's been playing for 30 minutes. You see V, right? This whole time. But with the mask on, you're assuming like, oh, this is Natalie Portman. It'd be cool if like once they go back to their shadow gallery, whatever, take off the mask, and it's not Natalie Portman. It's someone who Natalie Portman's V had trained. So it's like it skips
second
past,
V?
Exactly. Like it skips the third one. It skips
Gotcha.
So like it skips past Natalie Portman's V. And this is like her pupil,
Nice. Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
That'd be interesting.
For sure.
And you could have like flashback scenes of her training this younger V.
I think just like by nature, the kinds of people that want power aren't necessarily great people. You know what I mean?
100%. Because V doesn't want power. He just wants the wrong people out of power.
Exactly. Which
But you then have to replace it with something. If you don't, it's all out chaos.
Yeah.
And not necessarily good chaos.
Right.
Case in point, Saddam Hussein was a terrible dude. He was a dictator. There was efficiency. Now it's Taliban ran. So it's like there is no democracy there. I'm not saying like we shouldn't, but it's like we kind of left it worst. You know what I mean?
Oh, America has fucked up the world.
We left it worse off now than when it was.
Oh, for sure. For sure. But it's also
like V, he runs the risk of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta hope you gotta hope the most moral people win this.
Well, I don't
this
think
civil war.
I don't think necessarily. Well, I think a lot. I personally like agree with a lot of V's sentiments and stuff like that. I also acknowledge that it's not necessarily like it's not the right thing. I don't think, or to do. You know what I mean? Like I agree with a lot of the sentiments that V acts to stand for, but I don't necessarily think that V's method, or I don't think that it's the right answer.
No, hell no, because I'm sure there's some, and I'm gonna say right-wing idiots out there, because we see it keep happening where they believe like conspiracies about the government that just aren't true. Like we know this, right, as intelligent people, and I'm sure all of our listeners, that the government does things that are wrong and fucked up, and we fuck them, like, right? Like, But there's also a difference between what, like, you know, shooting up a pizza place because you think the government is like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a huge difference. And like you're saying, it all goes down to like who decides in the right and wrong. And some people really think they're in the right when we know 1000% they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just like nut jobs that put the Guy Fawkes mask on, even like in real life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's so cool about the book.
Yeah.
You can interpret this so many other ways. Was it the right way? Was it the wrong way? What happens afterwards?
Yeah.
But his world is totally different. That world is a true dystopia with a true fascist government that's truly fucking everyone over.
True.
And like killing people. There's like, they're Nazis, they're fascists, they're putting people in concentration camps.
I mean,
like,
the
that
leader
world deserves to die.
When you get that perspective from the leader, the whole introduction to the leader and hearing he's like, yes, I'm a fascist. Fuck these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
He's proud of it.
yeah.
Bringing up the Roman government and shit like that.
Exactly.
You have to hope that something better comes born out of the ashes, you know?
Exactly.
And the story doesn't give you that answer. Alan Moore no one has the answer to what that would be.
Yeah.
That's just real.
It's real life, baby.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, the book is an easy 6.
Ooh.
Agreed. I gave it an easy 6 too. First time I read it, this time I read it, talking about it strengthens that, 6 Joe Pesci.
I would argue up there in like the best, easily in the best graphic novels out there. Yeah.
Of all time. Hell yes.
For
it's
sure.
in my top 10 for sure.
For sure.
Without question.
You guys, I know this is Patreon. I know we all love saying, but I'm not sure
That's
I'm going to
fine.
give it a 6.
Totally fair.
But I would say like 5.5.
Nice.
Nice.
The parts for me, because I agree with you, Anthony, the parts for me that like I did have to force myself to read, I have to take that into consideration as to how easy or like how like fluidly it is for me to read something. If it's a little too jarring and like the pacing, much like a movie, if the pacing is
No, I
on
mean,
and
I
off,
understand what you're saying. I think for me, it was like
can't give it a
one
perfect
of
6.
those books where, even though there are, there's definitely parts where you have to just force yourself to keep reading.
Yeah.
But I think like for me, the story, the art, the everything about it, the ugliness of it, the duality of man, you know what I mean? Like everything.
Yeah, so I'll give it a 5.5. I really do like it. And I liked it more this time around than when I first read it.
Hey, I don't hate 5.5 for this book. Because would you put it in your top 10 graphic novels, Jake?
Ooh, that's a good one. If I were to answer that like from the waist real quickly, probably not.
Crazy. Any quick fire? Do we have any?
This book is special.
But it would be right outside the top 10.
Do we have any quick fire top 5, top 10 graphic novels for you guys?
I would do it. I would try
do
it.
it.
We always
Let's do a
talk
rapid
about it. We
fire.
tiptoe around it. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's give it for
Yeah.
the Patreon. They want
If you want, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
This and Watchmen is in my top 10. So I'll
Watchmen's
say that.
is in my top 10. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
gonna put
Watchmen and
V
V for Vendetta are both in my top 10.
Yeah. I'm including the Sandman, all 75 issues, as one big thing, and that's my number 1.
Ooh, whoa. Hot cheese coming
I
up.
think I'm going to do the same. Maybe number 2 even.
Nice. Okay. So I know for a fact for me, it's Sandman, Watchmen. That's my 1 and 2. So you're at least getting that. I don't know where V for Vendetta is on the list, but probably on the low end.
I think for me, this might be crazy. Rick Remender's X-Force.
Ooh.
For
That's
me.
in there. Hell yes. But that's your number 1. Nice.
I think it'll go Rick Remender's X-Force, Sandman, V for Vendetta, rounding out my top 3. Maybe Watchmen, depending on the
Nice.
day you ask me, and which I've read more recently, Okay. Long Halloween's in there for me.
Yes. For sure. I agree with that. Where? I'm still not sure. I'm writing down some things. I'm
writing down right now.
I saw Jake reach down, start writing.
I'll be honest. I'm at 9, and so far V for Vendetta is nowhere near being on this list.
Ooh. I
I'm
need
being
to
straight
take a
up.
look at my room for a second.
I'm sorry, you guys.
You know what's in there for me? Saga. Saga's in there for me. V for Vendetta's in there for me for sure.
I'm putting All-Star Superman on there.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. The Killing Joke has to be somewhere there,
I
too.
think Killing Joe's.
Ooh, it's not even
it's not
on
mine
my
either.
list.
Ooh.
I just
Maybe it's the more I think
shotgunned
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want me to read mine?
Go for it.
Okay, this is in no
Yeah.
specific order either.
Okay.
I just shotgunned it from the hip. Okay, Long Halloween, Justice, Alex Ross, Kingdom Come, Alex Ross, Hush, Old Man Logan, Sleeper by Brubaker and Sean Phillips, Watchmen, Fatale, Immortal Hulk, and Criminal. Also,
Wow.
Immortal
So,
Hulk.
did you? You didn't say Sandman, did you?
But Sandman and the other one you named, I forgot which one. Like those, they're probably like after 10. But am I tippy
top 20.
Okay, so from the
come up with my own
hip,
10
number
right now.
1, I'm gonna say Rick Remender's X Force. Number 2, Sandman. Number 3, Saga. Number 4, V or Watchmen. Number 5, V or Watchmen. Number 6, Justice.
I feel like Justice is not on my list. It won't be on my top 10.
I've read Justice many times.
I think I'm putting Justice over Kingdom Come for sure. Yeah, I think Kingdom Come would probably be outside of my 10. I need to look at what I got real quick. Oh, this is fun.
See, top 10 of all time is hard. Like, know what I really like that we recently did? But I'm not sure it's my top 10, but definitely probably top 20. The Human Target.
Ooh, I do like
Right?
Human Target. That's really good.
That was really good.
It's quite enjoyable.
I can't find anything I dislike about that comic, to be honest.
No, yeah.
I'm
should
talking
do
about both volumes.
We should do volume 2. Yeah, I liked volume 2. I
Right?
really liked the ending too. That last scene, that last page. I was like, nice.
Yeah, we got to get Cody to
See,
read that one.
It's like, fuck you, dude.
Volume 2?
Volume 2 of Human Target, yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. So for me, what did I say? X Force, Sandman, Saga, V, Watchmen, Justice, probably Old Man Logan also.
Mhm. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, Brody.
Brody.
Brody, boom schmody.
Oh, yeah. Snagglepuss is in my top 10. Fuck it.
Ooh, I like that. I didn't even put Snagglepuss there.
I'm just taking some time to think about it. I might even put Planet Hulk there.
I was
Like,
thinking about that.
I love Immortal Hulk, but Planet Hulk is just like what got me.
I was thinking about Planet Hulk too.
I was going hard on Immortal Hulk once I started reading it. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah, that is
It was a
no,
very
that's
fun, enjoyable, crazy ride.
that we need to talk about.
You know a book that isn't in my top 10, but probably my top 20 that we haven't talked about at all that I really fucking love? Scott Snyder's American Vampire?
Ooh, I've read some of that.
It's insane.
Yeah. American Vampire is really cool.
Really cool.
Ooh.
They do vampires differently too. He has his own spin on it. Like it also has a bit of I don't want to say Brubaker vibes, but part of it kind of reminded me of Fatale.
I came up with the last 10 of my 20.
Oh.
Oh shit, you have a top 20.
Yeah, I just went. Once again, I'm shooting from the hip here. Okay. So I already said my 10. Number 11, Sandman. 12, V for Vendetta. 13, Hulk Ground Zero. 14, Sinestro Corps Wars. 15, Sin City. 16, Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis, his whole run.
Nice.
The Goon, Walking Dead,
Ooh.
Queen and Country by Greg Rucka. And then I gotta say, I'm really liking Something's Killing the Children, so I'm putting that there.
Ooh, James Steiner.
Boom, that's top 20.
Okay, so if we're just quick firing more Planet Hulk, Alan Moore Swamp Thing.
Ooh. I read a lot of that recently, but I haven't finished it.
I have volume 1, I should read it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All-Star Superman's in mine.
Nice, I like that. I respect it. Some respect on my name.
Human Target's in mine. And I haven't even finished it.
That's high praise.
Dude, I think I'm going to put Philadelphia in my top 20.
Ooh, yeah, fuck yeah. How can we forget Philadelphia? Because Rodney would kill you if you say that it wasn't in your top 20.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's going up there. Okay, so some more in my top 20 quick fires that we hadn't mentioned. Philadelphia is also in there.
You know, I was going to put it in there, but I ended up not.
Honestly, I think Black Sad is in there for me.
fuck. Damn, I forgot all about Black Sad. Now I got to change that.
Black Sad's in the top 20 for me, Anthony.
Oh, I was gonna say
think
no one
so,
mentioned
too.
Black Sad.
Yeah, I'll probably replace one of mine with Black Sad.
Also, I know he's I think there's like some problematic ish out about him. But Terry Moore, the guy who did a bunch of the art for the he did all of the art for maybe like the first volume or compendium of Walking Dead.
Yeah, him and Robert Kirkman had a falling out.
Yes.
Why? What happened?
I don't know.
Robert Kirkman has a lot of interesting ways about how he got into comics and got popular. I was watching a video about it. He's not necessarily like, he's not like a scumbag or anything, but he's just gonna do what he's got to do what it takes, I guess. I don't know. He has an interesting comics career. He did a lot of failed comics, and then he did Walking Dead. Basically, it's a money thing. He claims that they made a deal. He just wound up getting way more money out of Walking Dead than the artist did. That's what I've heard.
But Tony Moore has this, and I think it was a very limited series, but has this story came out. I don't know, but it's called Rachel Rising. It's a horror comic, and it has,
I've heard of that one. Okay.
and that's probably in my top 20. I have the whole omnibus.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
have to check that one out.
But that's up there for me for sure. I think Hush is in my top 20 for sure.
Nice.
Got to get some of that Jim Lee art, you know.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
For reals.
For sure. Well, we're hitting an hour and a half.
Yeah. Maybe we should wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Hey guys, well thanks for listening to this Patreon exclusive. You're the real ones. Don't worry, it's only going to get better from here.
Who was worried?
Yeah. Don't worry. You know what? Maybe that's a good message for the commies.
Yeah.
You know, in case some of them, sometimes people have the blues.
It'll get better from here.
Yes. Don't
So
worry.
feeling down. Don't worry. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Let's end it there. Peace.
Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jake FH.
I'm Cody Cannon.
And I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics N Chronic. That's comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.